where we discuss the latest celebrity tea in the news. I'm your host, Auntie Derek, and today is Wednesday, August 13th. With me, I have two lovely co hosts on the mic, I Chill and my favorite Taurus. Hey, y'all.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
And I think, good morning indeed. I think we have some good tea for us to go over, so let's just go ahead and jump right in.
Okay, tea time.
Yes. Well, so did y'all remember hearing about Diddy filing a defamation suit of his own? Well, it's actually just been amended. It, oh, sorry, my computer just started acting bootleg all of a sudden. Okay, here we go. We're back. Let me share the screen. Stop acting bootleg, computer. I got a show to do. Anyway, so you see, I have this all hip hop article, and you see where it says here Diddy doubles hit airwaves. So Diddy ain't playing with the folks who dragged his name through the dirt. He's now gunning for $100 million in a brutal legal swing at Courtney Burgess, her lawyer Ariel Mitchell, and News Nation. Diddy claims they helped cook up a media circus full of lies that wrecked his rep and messed with his shot at a fair trial. The lawsuit got a significant upgrade on August 11th of this year. Diddy originally came for them in January asking for 50 million, but he's now doubled the ask, saying the damage to his name and business is worse than anyone thought. According to the docs, Diddy say Burgess and Mitchell's ran their mouths with no receipts, accusing him of assault and saying he had incriminating videos, all of which he says are pure fiction. He's blaming News Nation for giving them the mic and turning it into a viral feeding frenzy. His legal team went off in the filing saying, in this pitiful spectacle, all pretense of objectivity has been abandoned. As a global audience feasts at the all you can eat buffet of wild lies and conspiracy theories. Mitchell and Burgess are among the worst perpetrators in this offense scenario. The suit claims the whole thing was done in bad faith and was all about clout, money, or both. His lawyers argued the goal was to damage Mr. Combs' reputation, undermine his businesses, and by painting him as debauched and a pedophile, to poison the public's perception of him and deprive him of a fair trial. Diddy's been locked up in Brooklyn Metropolitan since his bail was denied on August 4th. And I don't think we need to really read the last sentence of this because we don't read his trial to death. So, but yeah, that's interesting. So now he's doubling because first he initially wanted 50 million for the defamation. Now he's saying that he's requesting 100 million, and they feel that they didn't have. Now my thing is though, of course there are no receipts because you you sit there, you and your team, y'all go at the people to make sure that these receipts don't exist. So there's that. But I mean, I guess we'll see
What
where this
defamation?
goes.
What did they did? I don't even know these people. Like,
Hello.
did you see any of this? I never heard of these people.
Me, I definitely now I've heard of News Nation, of course, but other than that, no. And
Oh, okay.
I I'm with you, chill. Like, how can you defame something that's already like you did the defaming, boo, honey? We already knew your ass was crazy as hell. So, oh, go ahead, favorite.
So I'm a little bit confused, right? So if he's suing for defamation about something that doesn't exist, isn't he in essentially telling on himself?
I would think so, but we we've learned that this man doesn't always make the smartest decisions. So,
Interesting.
well, that's that on that, honey. Does anybody want to add anything else about this defamation suit? Honey, that's probably going to get dropped. But does anybody want to add anything else before we go to the next story? All right, well, y'all, our next story. Now, this is kind of sad because I actually did have this story to talk about yesterday because it happened while we were on the show. But as y'all probably know by now, that Danielle Spencer, the one who famously played Little Sister D on What's Happening, has passed away. And I actually have this TMZ article that talks about, her time up to her passing away. And y'all see where it says, "What's happening?" Star Danielle Spencer's last days, her brutal hospital stay. So, Danielle Spencer, famous for playing Dee Thomas on the hit 70s sitcom What's Happening, spent her final days alive in a hospital bed. She had tubes hooked up to her nose and needing them for food and medicine. Danielle's mom, Cheryl Pelt, tells TMZ Danielle was hospitalized August 1st after a urinary tract infection turned septic. She was unable to eat hard foods and get her nutrients and get had to get her nutrients um, and meds through tubing. What's more, we're told Danielle had pneumonia in both lungs, and she was losing weight, and her gastric cancer was kicking up. Danielle's mom says her family was with her Sunday in a Virginia hospital, and she was talking and alert. The former child star's mother says Danielle suffered a cold blue and was unresponsive. Doctors worked on her and found a pulse, and she was transferred to the ICU for more targeted treatment. But her heart was weakening. As we reported, Danielle died Monday at 60 years old. Her mother says she died of cardiac arrest and gastric cancer. Hey, Haywood. Haywood still fine after all these years. Huh? Anyway, Danielle's mother says after her acting career slowed, she started working as a veterinarian in the Los Angeles area for over 2 decades, which was always her dream after acting. But we're told Danielle got sick in 2013 and she moved in with her mother at Cheryl's home in Virginia. Danielle's mom says her daughter suffered a long time. She battled cancer, and there were long lasting health complications from a severe car accident back in the day, which killed her father, Tim Pelt. Her jazz musician brother, Jeremy Pelt, tells TMZ Danielle had a tremendous amount of love and care for those she loved, her nieces and nephews, and she remained positive in her darkest moments. So shout out to that queen. Rest in peace. And I actually remember that story like it was yesterday when she first became a veterinarian. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Because I have to say, baby, D, if you like it, I think between D and Tanya from Everybody Hates Chris, I don't know who was worse as a little sister, honey. Because both of them got on my damn nerves. But I used to love and thank God for syndication because what's happening actually became one of my favorite shows. And shout out to Shirley Hemphill, who's a proud North Carolinian, born and raised in Asheville. So, but yeah, this was really really sad. I hated to hear it, and didn't even know she was battling cancer. But yeah, unfortunately, it said, but according to her mom, it was like really tough, but she was still able to get through it.
Well,
So
she
again, rest in
lived a
peace to that
long
queen, and condolences to her family.
she lived a long time. If she got diagnosed in 2013, for her to die in 2025, she's fought a long fight. And now, like you say, rest in peace to that queen.
Yes, honey. Because I'm not gonna say what I really want to say about D or Tanya. They really made a bitch not want to be the eldest, honey, out of all my siblings. But thank God that none of my siblings are nothing like that.
Yeah,
Well,
they did their job though, because if they made you have those feelings, they did a good job. She was she was a mess.
she sure was, honey. But oh, and shout out to Haywood Nelson. Still fine. He was fine back then and still fine to this day. He ain't gonna never not be fine with that big ass nose. I tell you that. Well, does anybody want to add anything about Danielle Spencer or Haywood's big ass nose before we go to the next story? All right. Well, y'all remember yesterday we talked about Sebastian Telfair begging Trump to, so he won't have to do his 6 months in prison.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it looks like it didn't work. Bec-
Oh,
so Sebastian Telfair reports to prison. Terms of release include no booze or drugs. So Sebastian Telfair is now behind bars. TMZ Sports has learned the former NBA star has officially begun his prison sentence. Records show the 40-year-old reported to Fort Dix FCI in New Jersey, where he's expected to remain for the next 6 months. As you oh, and this looks like the inmate information. Uh, as a judge, as you know, ordered Telfair earlier this summer to the time in a cell after he violated the conditions of his supervised release in his healthcare fraud case. On Monday, he told us out of New York City he thought the whole situation was super unfair and he actually pleaded with Donald Trump to pardon him. Stupid. I
I don't
did too
say
good to be
who.
sitting. Exactly. Said- and gonna say I did too good to be sitting in anybody's jail. The prison Telfair is locked up at touts itself as a low security federal correctional institute. Its website says it has a current population of over 3,000 inmates. Court documents we obtained show when Telfair ultimately gets out, he'll have multiple mandatory conditions he must satisfy, including no use of alcohol or drugs. He'll also be required to take an in-person class on personal finance and then write the court a two-page letter telling telling what he has learned and what change, if any, he has made to his personal finances as a result. Oh, this is crazy. The supervised release will last a term of 2 years. It's unclear if POTUS is currently mulling over a Telfair pardon, but the ex basketball player told us, regardless, he's going to use his time in prison to better himself. We definitely got some wins coming, he insisted. Mm, I guess. Then again, though, I mean, I guess I would, one would ask like, why would he want to escape? But scammers is as scammers do. You figure that this man is a scammer himself, so hell, maybe he'll see that I'm just like him and pardon me. I don't know, but
He likes
go ahead,
scammers.
right? Go ahead, favorite tourist.
Yeah, so I think NBA star is a stretch. I had to look him up. And his career highlight was playing the All Star game in 2004, which he didn't even start. Well, interesting.
Well, thank you for that information because you know good and well I ain't know who the hell he is or what he played for. And in fact, I think yesterday the only when we talked about him yesterday, the only person who even knew who he was Moon. So, so yeah, you get like Will said, NBA star is definitely a stretch. Cause I even though as a non-sports fans, I still know the stars. Like I knew Kobe, I know Shaq, I know who shit. I guess maybe them the only two I know at the moment. I don't know the
You know
important people.
LeBron.
Oh, LeBron, yep.
Yeah, you know a few.
Michael Jordan.
Oh yes, I definitely know him.
Oh, Lord.
You know that's North Car. You know, baby, North Carolina lives for him, honey. So, well, that's that on that. Did anybody want to add anything about to tell Fair's stupid ass before we go to the next story?
See you in 6 months.
And make sure you don't drink or smoke, poor baby. Oh, they got just a man like okay. I can almost see, and because I guess I never got the no drugs and no alcohol thing of like of because maybe I guess they feel that maybe the drugs and alcohol will lead them to behaviors that will get them back into. But I never understood that. It's like that is I don't know. Or drop the soap. You are a mess. I just never understood that. I just I don't know. I think that's just like a really really easy way to that you have that you use that you can lock these inmates back up. I don't
Mm-hmm.
like it.
Mm-hmm. Very easy way.
Cause it's like this man, he was accused of like healthcare scamming. So he wasn't selling drugs. He wasn't
Right.
arrested for being like belligerently drunk out in public or something like that. He was
Right.
scamming. So you're telling me that because he was scamming, he can't have a glass of wine? Like it don't make sense to me.
Well, he probably could. Definitely couldn't smoke because you know that stays in your system for a long time. But I think an
Mhm.
occasional drink he wouldn't be popped if he got drug tested if he did it smartly. But it still seems a little restrictive. Um, he doesn't if he doesn't have any DUIs or anything like that. I don't see why they would put booze in there. Maybe drugs I can kind of understand, but even in a state where weed is legal, Like, why can't he enjoy that even? That when it has nothing to do with why he was convicted. So,
Exactly. Go ahead, favorite Taurus.
It may have to do something about being impaired. Like if he doesn't have access to those things, he wouldn't be impaired, and in turn, he wouldn't repeat the offenses he did previously. That's all I got.
I know that's right, honey. I know when they ain't got no weed or if I can't drink, honey, I know I'd be ready to fuck some shit up. So, but Sebastian and me are two different people. So, and also I would never, scam the healthcare system. So there's that. Well, that's that on that story. Y'all, this next story. Oop, sorry, looks like my notepad just froze a bit. My computer is going through it today. Well, anyway, we learned that because when we talked about this story on Monday, we it was just alleged that one of Rashida's kids actually shot T Hood. Now it's actually being confirmed that he is one of the suspects now. And I have this Vibe article. Y'all see where it says K Frost alleged murder of T Hood being investigated. Oh, sorry, Kai Frost's alleged murder of T Hood being investigated as possible self-defense shooting. So, Gwinnett County authorities have confirmed that the individual who shot and killed Georgia rapper T Hood, real name Tevin Hood, has been identified as Kai Frost, the eldest son of VH1's Love and Hip Hop Atlanta personalities Kirk and Rashida Frost. However, investigators are now exploring whether the shooting may have been an act of self defense. The incident occurred on Friday, August 8th, at a residence in unincorporated Snellville, Georgia, following what police describe as a domestic disturbance. According to law enforcement, the incident occurred following a domestic dispute at the residence where Farmer resided, in which the woman was assaulted and sustained physical injuries as a result. Police say the conflict escalated before the shooting took place. Officials note that the suspected shooter arrived after the physical altercation and separated himself from the residence before the shooting occurred, a crucial detail that may support a self defense claim. Following the shooting, both Kai Frost and witnesses stayed at the scene and remained on scene at the time of the incident, and both the shooter and witnesses continue to cooperate with investigators. Kai Lashid Frost, who's 24, is the eldest son of Kirk and Rashida Frost and has four half siblings, including younger brother Carter and sister Kelsey, who was reportedly dating T Hood at the time of the shooting. It remains unclear if Kelsey was the woman involved in the domestic dispute, excuse me, that occurred prior to T Hood's murder. While Kai Frost is cooperating fully with the investigation, no charges have yet been filed against him.
oh,
So,
I think it's definitely related. Why would he be there if it wasn't her that was injured?
exactly.
He, it, she's connected. No reason for Kai to be there if it was some other woman.
Agreed. And this is Kai, and this is Kelsey right here. This is T Hood. Well, you know who says that the self defense story is BS? T Hood's
Oh,
mama.
oh, well,
Mhm.
yeah, she probably could feel that way.
And she said that. Now, after she said what she said, I'm kind of looking at it like, okay. So y'all see, I have this all hip hop article. T Hood's mother calls out self defense claim after fatal shooting. So as we know, we just read T Hood was shot and killed during a domestic dispute in his Snellville home on Tuesday, August 8th, and police are now investigating whether the fatal encounter was a case of self defense. Let me just go down because a lot of this is a repeat of what we just read earlier. Okay. So, in a development drawing attention across love and hip hop and reality TV circles, Kai Frost, the son of Kirk and Rashida, has reportedly been identified as the prime suspect. T. Hood had been romantically linked to the couple's daughter, Kelsey, and the dispute is believed to have involved her. However, Kelsey has publicly denied any direct involvement in the shooting. Now, T. Hood's mother took to social media to challenge the self defense narrative and reject claims that the incident happened during a party. He was walking away and got 5 shots in the back, she wrote. People,
Oh,
this is serious. We will not let this ride. I need everyone to post up. We will not be defeated. I know you're watching, telling me to keep fighting for you. I love you, my celebrity. Justice for T Hood. So that was where I was like, so he was shot 5 times in the back when he was walking away.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's wild.
So police have confirmed that no one outside the home was involved, and the investigation still remains active. Authorities are continuing to gather information and have not ruled out additional developments. T Hood was known in Atlanta's underground hip hop scene for songs like "Percolator," "Big Booty," and "Ready to Go."
Hmm.
Hmm. So
Yeah.
yeah, if I learn, I don't know if what she's saying is true because I didn't read like the investigation of the police report or whatever. But
Right.
if he was walking away and got shot in the back, that yeah, your self defense claim is out, boo.
No validation to that. Interesting.
Mm-hmm. See, and this is what I love about having my own show because I can actually bring y'all along with my thought. Because at first, a lot of times when I say things, people be like, what? At first, but then when I take them along on the ride with me, they be like, okay, okay. I see what you're talking about now. So, yeah, I'm sure we'll learn more. The investigation is still ongoing, so I'm sure this is not the last we've heard about this. And maybe Mona, right? Mona Scott got her cameras right now, and they filming for the next season of Love and Hip Hop, which is sad, but you know, that's what they do. Well, does anybody want to add anything else about T Hood or Kai Frost or Love and Hip Hop before we go to the next story?
Be interesting to see the outcome of the possible self-defense investigation, because if what she says is true, I don't see it.
I agree. And then we have a comment. Rashida is going to have even more bags now. Okay. Well, this next story, and thank you, Chill, for bringing this to my attention, honey. Because when I just shook my head, honey. So remember how we said yesterday when we were talking about Salt and Pepper's case with UMG, and I mentioned that Salt has made it real clear, like please do not compare our lawsuits against UMG because ours has nothing to do with Drake's. Drake's is doing something totally different, and she's absolutely right. So y'all see, I have this hot new hip hop article. Drake asked UMG to provide any documents related to domestic violence claims against Kendrick Lamar. Child. So, Drake's legal team has filed motions demanding that Universal Music Group provide any documents they have related to allegations of domestic violence against Kendrick Lamar. Additionally, they want access to any documents involving Dave Free's relationship with him and his children. They filed the motions on Tuesday evening. Overall, the motion requests 75 documents request. For document request number 50, Drake's attorney write from January 1st, 2024, I'm sorry, from January 1st, 2014 to the present, all documents and communications relating to allegations of domestic violence, violence against women, and or other forms of violence committed by Kendrick Lamar Duckworth. For number 51, they add from January 2019 to the present, all documents and communications relating to David Isaac uh, Freely, best known as Dave Free, and his relationship with Kendrick Lamar Duckworth and Kendrick Lamar Duckworth's children. And let's see. The requests pertain to the discovery phase of Drake's defamation lawsuit against UMG. He is suing the company over its alleged promotion of Kendrick Lamar's diss track, Not Like Us. He claims it used bots to artificially increase the popularity of the song, on which Lamar labels him as a certified pedophile. UMG previously warned Drake against entering into the discovery against the company back in April. 2 weeks ago, his representative celebrated a win, the granting of a routine discovery motion. They said in a statement at the time that win will become a loss if this frivolous and reckless lawsuit is not dropped in its entirety because Drake will personally be subject to discovery as well. As the old saying goes, be careful what you wish for. Hello, that's what I was saying. But anyway, as caught by Billboard, another section of the motions request document pertaining to Pusha T's 2018 diss track, "The Story of Addison," his lawyer, Michael Gottlieb, says they want to see whether UMG censored any lyrics from that song which may have been defamatory. Such documents will reveal why and under which circumstances UMG believes it is appropriate to censor its artist's expression, which plaintiff could evaluate alongside UMG's decisions regarding Not Like Us, Gottlieb writes. UMG's past practice and knowledge regarding prior defamatory material it has refused to publish would be highly probative of UMG's knowledge here. So a lot of legalese up in here, but pretty much what they saying, Drake, be careful what you wish for, honey, because if you really want to discover some shit, then we gonna discover some shit. And you gonna learn that the UMG probably did do things that you were alleged, but they didn't do it for Kendrick, they did it for your ass. And that's why we keep on hearing Drake songs on the radio. So he's also asking for his contracts. Drake is a bitch. Oh, thank you for that piece of information. See, I ain't know he was asking about the contracts. Look, white
Well,
mom
they gave him
syndrome.
a gave him a copy, but it was highly redacted. Now he's requested an unredacted copy of Kendrick's contract. Oh, yeah, he's going hard, and I don't understand why he's trying to get canceled.
Hey, let them keep going, cause baby, if I never have to hear another Drake song ever again in my life, I will be just fine, like Mary J. Blige. Shut up, favorite Taurus.
See,
Go ahead,
I would just sit here minding my business. I was gonna comment on something totally different, but I do see the comparison between the two having terrible music. So we can we can agree with each other there. I was going to say, not me and Auntie agreeing about something music related, because if Drake decided that he wanted to go to Mars, and yeah, I would not be sad about it.
Toodles, honey. Toodles, get your little half white ass out of here, honey. I can't take it. I'm sorry. Well, did anybody want to add anything about this biracial Canadian before we go to the next story?
He's not like us.
That part. And this lawsuit is proof. Well, our next story, because speaking of UMG, so I don't know if y'all know this, but Leangelo Ball has actually, or excuse me, Jello has actually signed with them. And he's pretty much talking about how I have this hot new hip hop article, and you see where it says here Leangelo Ball reveals he was making $3,000 per month before pivoting to rap. Now, I just want you all to do not take this as as inspiration to start a rap career. This man has what you don't have. He has an NBA background or a basketball background, and he's light skinned, so he has light skin privilege on top of that. Do not think that you're gonna have the same story. So anyway, Leangelo Ball has found quite a bit of success since quitting basketball in favor of his music career. According to him, making the switch was an easy call too. During a recent appearance on the Bag Fuel podcast, he opened up about the time in the NBA G League, admitting that it made him realize professional basketball wasn't the right path for him. When he got his first check from music, Ball said he didn't think twice. I was in the G League. That's $3,000 a month as a grown man, he explained, as captured by my mixtapes on Twitter. When I got paid from music, it wasn't a hard decision. I wasn't contemplating, like, damn, I got a hoop. Amid the success of his viral hit Tweaker, the athlete turned rapper scored a deal with Def Jam and Universal Music Group. Reportedly, the contract could be worth up to $13 million, with $8 million guaranteed. Clearly, this was a major step up financially from his G League stint. Ball unleashed his debut album in July, League of My Own, on which he addressed some ongoing drama in his personal life. As he continued to make headlines for his Tweaker success in February, the mother of his children, Miss Nikki Baby, took to social media to put his ass on blast. In a lengthy post, she accused him of walking out on her and their kids to be with another woman, Rashida Nicole. She went, which we've talked about here several times, but she went on to criticize him in various scathing posts, even alleging that he abandoned their children. He denied this on multiple occasions and proceeded to fire back in one of his songs. I'm not reading them damn lyrics, child, and I might not even listen to the album, but I'll listen to it just to see like if it's worth listening to. It don't cost me nothing to stream. So go ahead, favorite Taurus.
Let's be honest. Yeah, he couldn't make it in the G League. That means he wasn't good enough. That means he wasn't making any money. I hate how these stories are flipped where they could just say exactly what it is. He wasn't a good basketball player. He didn't make it in the NBA. He barely made it in the G League, which is essentially I won't say that on the recorded line. But he didn't make it in the G League. So he wasn't gonna go anywhere anyway in the NBA. He might have gone to what was it, Sacramento Kings? If they would have taken him, he couldn't even make it on the Sacramento Kings. If you know NBA basketball, that's saying something. So let's just call the thing a thing. Yeah.
Look, the gag is you actually don't have to know NBA basketball to know what it because I caught on immediately. I've heard about the Sacramento Kings, honey. And pretty much heard that that's where I'm not gonna say where players go to die, but that's where anyway, I've heard about them.
And
It's
truth be
essentially the
told, I
the
don't know
retirement home of the NBA.
why he's gonna make it in the rap game. Because the one song I've heard by him is like 8 million. Y'all really y'all?
You don't like
Okay.
that song? I'm a swerve on the corner. Whoa, whoa. It's cute. It's a little cute for but you're right. 8 million cute. No.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Go ahead, favorite Taurus.
To be fair, with music, they can manipulate the numbers. With basketball, you have to actually show your talent.
Oh, oh, touche.
Oh, so
Well, does
whoa.
anybody wanna? Oh, sorry, bro.
I'm about to say so. Whoa on that.
Well, I'm gonna let you listen to the album because I'm not gonna listen to it.
Look, and I'm gonna say the only reason, literally, the only reason I'm even gonna take a listen is because I like that strand of marijuana that they got. I actually had it for my first time when I went to LA, and I went to a dispensary out there, and they said that the Ball family got their own line of own strain of weed. So I was like, oh well, baby, this shit had a bitch lifted, hun. I said, oh, okay, had me feeling like I can maybe play basketball for a little bit. So
So
shout
that's
out
why
to them and
you're
that
gonna
weed.
listen to
Hmm.
the album.
Yeah. Because if that weed is good, honey, then the music might be. The
Something is
music might.
wrong with you. Something wrong with you.
Look, it made sense in my head.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead, favorite Taurus.
Okay, so Auntie, I got a question for you, right? And you have to answer quickly. What
Mm.
color is a basketball?
Oh shit, is that orange?
Okay, it took you a minute. Okay,
Is it orange? I don't know. It's Donald Trump colored.
the Auntie think he playing basketball. He's out there playing tennis. Like Auntie,
Okay. Well, speaking of tennis, honey, let's talk about some back and forth of people going back. So remember when I talked about yesterday with 50 Cent, my ex man, when he said something about finesse two times and his mom. Well, finesse two times has actually responded. And I have the article here from Hot New Hip Hop. And you see where it says finesse two times posts his alleged payments to his mother and calls out 50 Cent amid dispute. So some wild things have been said by the mother of finesse two times, Pluria Alexander, as of late. She claimed that her 33-year-old son hasn't been helping her out financially, leading to her facing eviction in Texas. Moreover, she alleges that she's been subjected to narcissistic abuse from finesse two times. The reason for the alleged lack of assistance money wise stems from an argument that he and Pluria got into. Until recently, my son was helping me pay my bills, but after a falling out, I've been left to manage everything on my own, she said. And we even talked about how she started that GoFundMe um, to help raise money for her move. Floria has been targeting at least $6,000. Vanessa's mom claimed further, this is the third time my son's actions have left me homeless, and each time it becomes harder to recover. As it stands right now, it doesn't sound like she's willing to forgive him or hash things out in a civil manner. In a separate post, Floria scolded Finesse 2 times, criticizing him for how he spends his money. You spent 4 million on niggas and bitches, weed, flying motherfuckers back and forth. That's what you spent your money on. Jewelry. You ain't spent it on family. And when a motherfucker do something, and a motherfucker, I'm sorry, when a motherfucker do get something, guess what? They got to do something for it. It ain't genuine. Keep your money. So now this is where things get interesting. So this is one of Finesse's receipts that he posted showing like payments to his mom, and some of them say Floria Alexander, some of them say mom, some of them say mom Dukes. But you see how the amounts of money that he did send her, and it looks like this is going up until March of this year. It looks like maybe the last payment was March of this year. But see, he been sending her steady amounts of money.
But look at the top two, how much has gone down. Aren't the top two the
Mhm.
most recent? I was trying to look at the dates.
Let me see if I can. Oh shoot,
Yeah, at the top there. June
150.
of 2025 and the one before that. Yeah.
Yep,
$150.
$150.
$150? Baby.
Look, he
Ain't,
said, make it enough.
that ain't paying no rent.
It sure ain't, honey. That's barely buying groceries. But yeah. So and Finesse 2 times calls out 50 Cent for condemning his beef with his mom. So you remember how he said 50 Cent said, "Hey Finesse, you look just like your mama, man. Just call her." I said, what the fuck do you do when it happens? Nothing. Look at her and say, whatever. You want some of this money or not? And stay your ass off the phone, mom. Who showed you how to make a video anyway? Finesse, please don't say nothing crazy. And you know what? Finesse gagged his ass. He said, when you call Marquise, I'll call her. Oh, baby. Gagged his ass. He gagged. Baby, he should. Hun, and if I was 50 Cent, I wouldn't say anything else because clearly you see what time this nigga is on.
That
Finesse will
wasn't even
read your
his
ass for
business.
filth.
That wasn't his business. You know, your ex is, he needs to sit down for real. For real. He always in
Mm-hmm.
somebody else's tea.
Agreed. Go ahead, favorite Taurus.
Miranda and I, we peeped the same thing. If you look at that video again, a lot of them say it declined or canceled those transactions.
Oh.
Really?
Go back on
Let
T.
me go back to it.
I didn't even, it just went by so fast. Hold
See,
up.
look the first one, the moms
Oh,
canceled,
Fail.
failed.
it says failed. I see canceled.
Um, a lot of them did go through, but the latest ones, oh, there's one fail.
Failed.
Mm,
hmm
okay.
Okay, now thank y'all for pointing that out. So now I'm kind of looking at it another angle now because usually like if because usually like the time it's not because like I don't think he's canceling it on his end because I think he's trying to send the money. He probably can't, and either because like her account is not there anymore, or I don't
Or his
know. But
account didn't have it. Like, what would a fail be? He doesn't have the money to send. That could fail it, couldn't
no,
it?
it could, but I don't even think it'll even show up in the receipt. Like it'll say before you can even try to send it. Oh, I don't know, child. I don't get it. This is rich people problems. I don't know.
Or from
I
the
don't
looks of it, they're
know.
using some sort of application to send funds. And from my own working knowledge of these applications, they do show like the full transaction of the full list of attempted transactions that include failed ones and canceled ones as well. I know Cash App for one does that, and it stays on the ledger.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So we gon' I feel like we gon' find out some stuff that we don't need to be finding out about family business and stuff. And I think what we're gonna learn is that because she's sitting there trying to blame her son for narcissistic abuse, I think it was a narcissist who raised a narcissist. Based off of what I've seen, because I think I said this yesterday. Like based off of what I've seen so far, this woman instead of going to the family, about family business, um, She goes to the internet and tries to
Yeah.
embarrass her son, and I'm like, I don't know.
She put us in the group chat. We don't need to be in there.
Hmm. Well, does anybody want to add anything else about finesse, my ex, or Pluria before we go to the next story?
Taurus.
Oh,
So
go ahead, favorite Taurus.
X in air quotation marks anyway. Like it brings to light. I'm not sure if it's just a cultural thing, but the expectation that a child is supposed to take care of their parent when they get of age or as an adult or something. There's this impending expectation, like you're supposed to take care of your parents when you didn't essentially ask to be here. So how is it your responsibility to take care of somebody who you had no say in being born to? If that makes sense. That's never made any sense to me, you know. So while I understand community is important and family is important, I'm not disputing that at all. I'm just saying, from my perspective, from a very high level objective, it just never makes sense to me. You know, why an adult child that has the expectation of taking care of their
No,
parents.
I agree. I
Yeah,
agree 200%.
it's very odd to me, still to this day.
Now, if that child wants to grow up and do that, that's one thing. But to sit there and expect it, and then on top of that, like how she even got out to Texas in the first place was crazy. Because she's sitting there trying to make it. She made it seem like she didn't want to go out there, but just did it because Finesse promised to move out there and take care. But she claimed she was happier in Memphis. She had a job out there, had her own house, and didn't have to depend on nobody. But you dropped all that stuff that quote unquote made you happy to go over to Texas to now depend on your son, and now you got to go fund me for $6,000 and you asking the internet for money and telling us that your son is a narcissist. Girl, I'm not buying it. I'm sorry. I'm not buying it. So,
That's what money does to people. I'm sure a lot of people who have money um, have these issues with family members. When you have a lot of money like that, millions, they come to expect you to share it. I mean, people are they're working hard. They living paycheck to paycheck. You know, I can kind of understand it that if somebody in your family has millions, you expect them to kind of drop you something here and there. But I think it's a terrible expectation. But that's how people are.
hmm and we have a comment saying, I will take care of my parents until they leave because I'm not leaving it to others to pretend to take care of them. Now, and that's admirable. And that kind of just proves my point. That's you are the child who grew up and wanted to do that. But I don't think your parents would expect you to do that. You see what I mean? Like it's just not, they
Yeah,
will
they wouldn't
appreciate you,
say
but
why
hmm
you ain't doing it. If you weren't doing it, like why you not sharing your money with us? Yeah, they're not
Right.
coming off like that,
Which was the original point.
right?
hmm And shout out to your dad, honey. I know him because that's a man of taste. He likes those, fried Viennas and that fried spam just like I do. So shout out to that king,
They ain't gonna
that
never run out.
that king of taste. Well, did anybody want to add anything else before we go to the next story? What did he say? Oh, he cooked it in the morning. I left yesterday. You should have had some. Let's see. And some people don't have great relationships with their parents, so I get it if you don't. I
For
had to
sure.
tell him, I'm sorry, I don't eat Vienna sausages and thought of Auntie.
No, no, Miranda. That's a very valid point as well. It's just that's this imposed obligation that folks have,
No
and
matter if they've
which is
treated you badly or not.
right. That's still your mother. That's still your so and so. Like,
I'm
yeah,
still your mother.
yeah.
Yeah.
It strips the autonomy away from a grown person, even though they just so happen to be the child of somebody else. So it'll be interesting. I really don't care about much about this story, but I want to. Hopefully, they share more of it just so that we can kind of understand more of like the nuance between the family dynamics. Since we're already in the group chat, we might as well be nosy. Fuck it. And hopefully, your quote unquote X man will hush.
You know he won't.
Oh God.
But yeah, and I agree, and I think what we will find out is that because based off of what I'm seeing, honey, it's looking like she might be the problem. And he just like him being a millennial, honey, even though he's still a hood nigga, but he's still a millennial. And a lot of us, like we tend to take this route of of breaking cycles, of not
Mhm.
putting up with abuse from our parents and stuff like that. So
And to be fair, like people have to have the awareness or operate from a different perspective to recognize when essentially they were abused to begin with. A
mhm,
lot of times people they just don't know any better, which is still very valid. You can't like how couldn't you know? Well, you didn't have the necessary tools to kind of understand what that abuse looked like and how it affected you. So it's such a multi-layered story this is. So I'm pretty sure we're going to hear more about it relatively soon.
I agree. And Paloria, damn you for making me side with a straight man. I hate when I'm put in positions like that. Well, this next story. So remember how I think the last time we read about Wendy Williams and her guardianship is that she was undergoing a psych evaluation and all of that, or medical evaluation, excuse me. Well, I have this TMZ article. So the medical evaluation is complete, and Guardian is pushing for litigation pause. So this is really interesting. So Wendy Williams' medical evaluation is complete, but her court-appointed guardian, Sabrina E. Morrissey, is asking to pause the ongoing litigation with A&E over their 2024 documentary to let the guardianship court make the call on whether or how the guardianship will continue. In an August 5th filing obtained by TMZ, Morrissey says the evaluation is complete and medical specialists have formed an opinion concerning Wendy's current neurological condition and diagnosis, including whether she has the ability to make decisions about the A&E litigation over the network's doc. Where is Wendy Williams? Morrissey says the opinion was cemented following a significant number of medical and neuropsychological tests and scans, which include brain imaging. However, she says several complications have arisen, namely Wendy's family and other challenging the guardianship. Therefore, she's asking the court to sit tight for 3 months or until the guardianship court makes a ruling on the status of the guardianship and the guardian. According to the letter, A&E provided a statement for Morrissey's legal submission, saying the company will agree with the delay, but would like an early deposition of Wendy scheduled due to their concerns over her purported progressive neurological disease. In case you missed it, Morrissey sued A&E in 2024 over their doc, which chronicled Wendy's talk show ending and the start of the guardianship. However, many people have questioned Morrissey's intentions with Wendy, including Wendy's lawyer, Joe Tacopina, who told us just last month the guardianship sickens him and vowed to hold those responsible for it accountable in court. It's no secret Wendy wants out of the situation. She even likened her guardianship to a luxury prison in our February's TMZ Presents Saving Wendy doc. So stay tuned. So yeah, that's really interesting. She was like, "Well, let me just put this case on pause because
Hold
we
up.
gotta see."
Go back to that woman's picture where she's posing
Uh,
by herself.
let
Her
me. Uh,
guardian.
okay. Sorry, give me 1 second. Okay, let's see. Right here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hmm.
I see you.
Mm.
I see it, honey.
Mm-hmm. It's subtle, but it's there. Okay, girl. Okay, girl.
And I knew it, honey. But then I told you, but because when we read about the judge, honey, when we found out that the judge was a white lady, and the judge kept siding with Sabrina. Anything that Sabrina could have said, "Oh, the sky is pink," and Wendy keeps saying the sky is blue. Well, the court's going to agree with the guardian. So Wendy, the sky is pink. Remember that from now on. That's just kind of how that relationship was going.
Mm-hmm. They seem
But
to have a real connection there before Wendy. Like that's her. That's her judge, allegedly.
mhm.
Yeah. Free Wendy.
Free Wendy, and then, then we have a show. Get a job. Stay away from her. I love it. Oh, well, did anybody want to add anything about Wendy or Sabrina before we go to the next story?
Your favorite
Go ahead,
Taurus?
favorite Taurus.
I just want to say, just from an outside perspective, just reading these stories, it is so daunting. Just to see what Wendy has to endure. I could only, or I don't want to imagine, but just being even in closer proximity to her and what she's having to deal with, it's so sad. You know, it's very. It appears that she doesn't have any true advocates. You know, that would work on her behalf to give her some type of resemblance of freedom. It's unfortunate, really.
I agree. And we have a comment. Another angle: the government trying to take care, quote unquote, of Wendy, leave it to her family and child. I don't
Well,
know.
I think they took control before the family really had a chance to do anything. See, now that
Yeah,
she's under this control, their hands are tied. But I think they used the son spending her money as a way to enact this guardianship. So now the legal fight is between the guardian and the judge, and this test that she's gone through to prove whether she needs it or not. The family, I think, can't do anything about it other than, talk to the lawyer and participate with her attorney. Go ahead, Will.
yeah.
No, you're absolutely right, Jill, and that's the source of the issue. You know, it's and I've noticed the majority of the time when these stories come up into like hot topics of some sort, it's always a woman celebrity who's under conservatorship and having a lot of these oppressive forces operating against them under the veil that they're actually helping. It's never lost on me that is usually the case. Like, not saying that it doesn't happen to other folks as well, more inclusive. It's just the stories that make it to like that get the majority of the views and stuff. I'm always noticing they're always women. I think there's
Yep.
something, but I can't prove it. But I definitely think there's something to it for sure.
Nope, you're right. It's a pattern. And then another comment: if she's a financial pawn to government and family, leave it to the family, as they are the ones who will need to deal with her on her last years and post death. I guess we'll see. I don't think this has anything to do with the government at all, because the government didn't really care about Wendy.
We don't know any of that. If we want to be honest, we don't know any of that.
hmm Well, what we do know is that people need to stop playing with Missy Elliott. And do anybody want to add anything about this story before we go to the next one?
Free Wendy.
Free Wendy. Hashtag free Wendy. Well, and also hashtag leave Missy Elliott alone, honey. So I have this hot new, excuse me, all hip hop article, and it's an exclusive. It says Missy Elliott's wealth muted in long running songwriting dispute. So Missy Elliott is in the thick of a legal mess in Philly where her old songwriting buddy Terry Williams is trying to cash in on songs from their 90s girl group days with Sister. And shout out to my real Missy fans who remember that. With Sister, and the judge just told him to leave her bank account out of it. Williams claims he helped write a bunch of tracks for Sister's album For All the Sisters Around the World, and says he's owed a credit and a cut of the money. Missy's not having it and says she wrote those joints solo. The legal back and forth has been dragging on for years, and now it's landed in federal court. But here's where it gets spicy. Last week, Judge Nitsa Quinones Alejandro told Williams he can't use Missy Elliott's fame or money to try to beef up his case. The court said talking about her celebrity status or other music work that's unrelated to the songs in question could mess with the jury's judgment and is mostly off limits. The judge spelled it out. References to Elliott's wealth, fame, and other works have little to no relevance to this case, and that the probative value of this evidence is outweighed by a danger of unfair prejudice, Judge Alejandro said. Williams tried to argue that since Missy talked about her career publicly, her success should factor into the trial. The judge wasn't buying it and said that that still doesn't make it fair game. Williams cannot use Elliott's wealth to unfairly inflate his compensatory damages claim. References to Elliott's wealth, fame, and other works are generally inadmissible, Judge Alejandro ruled. That said, the judge left a little wiggle room. If Missy backgrounds if I'm sorry, if Missy's background connects directly to the songs they're fighting about, it might come up, but only if it actually matters to the case. Whether that makes it into trial is still to be determined. The drama also includes a stash of 34 unreleased tracks that Williams say he worked on. Missy says she all wrote them herself. Back in August of 2024, Missy scored a win when the judge threw out Williams' lawsuit over Leah's song Heartbroken, saying he waited too long, 22 years, to claim that he helped write it. That part of the case is dead, but the sister fight is still going. Mm-mm.
Mm, mm, mm. Boy, I tell you.
If you know Missy like I know Missy, then you already know from the beginning this is some bullshit. That girl
Hmm.
don't need nobody's help to write any song. But anyway, go ahead, favorite Taurus.
First question: why isn't Devonte mentioned in any of this? Because for those who don't recall, like Missy and the group Sista, they were under the guidance of Devonte from Jodeci, and he had, I guess it was a label, and they had like these whole writing camps, boot camps, artist development camps, that type of thing. So it was a lot, and that's where Missy Elliott met Tweet as well. There was a lot of fuck shit going on around the time. Naturally, it was the early '90s and terrible contracts and blah blah blah. It just it's never lost. I mean, that when we hear about these types of uh, situations with artists, and they came and the art was created around the time where Devante was the figurehead of whatever was going on. He's never named or mentioned. I find that very odd.
You want to know why? Because he a real nigga who got a gun, and he's not shy about using it. Allegedly, allegedly. We all know. We've heard about Devontae being violent, honey. So you go try to sue that motherfucker if you want to. I want to live to see another day. Allegedly, allegedly.
That's another thing that came to my mind as well. Is like, even though the person we know the I'll even go to say we don't even know the breadth of Missy Elliott's talent. We just know what she allows us to witness. I'll just say that. I definitely don't think it's lost that there could be some validity to what was going on, considering what I mentioned previously in the the craziness that happened back during those sister days. I don't want to dispute that. Again, I wasn't there. Uh, but yeah, it's back to my original point. It's just very interesting how, like, yeah, I'll leave that alone. I want to live to see another day too, so I'll leave that alone.
Hello. Hey, Devontae, if you're listening, sweetie, we want no smoke. We're big fans. Shout out to you and thank you for your contributions to R&B.
Yes, we're using critical thinking skills here. We're not accusing. We're just asking questions.
Mm-hmm. And making connections. Let me stop.
Ding ding ding.
What, did anybody want to add anything about Missy or sister or this lawsuit before we go to the next story? Because this next story, believe it or not, is about another lawsuit, another musical lawsuit. Hall and Notes, honey. So y'all remember that they were fighting, but they've quietly resolved their legal feud. So I have this link from Variety, and you see where it says Daryl Hall and John Oates privately resolved legal feud. So Daryl Hall and John Oates have resolved their dispute over Oates' plan to sell his half of their joint venture to Primary Wave Music. Court documents filed August 11th revealed the legal back and forth between the duo has now been privately resolved without any additional information on their end. The pair started litigation in 2023 when Hall launched arbitration seeking to block Oates from selling his stake in Whole Oates Enterprises. This includes the band's name and likeness rights as well as royalties to Primary Wave. Primary Wave has become a music catalog marketing powerhouse over the past 15 years, acquiring assets from Bob Marley, Whitney Houston, James Brown, Prince, and many other artists, and marketing those assets largely in cooperation with the artist's reps or estates. As a storied heritage act with dozens of hits that spawned in the 1970s and 80s, such as like Kiss on My List and I Can't Go for That, Hall and Oates fit into their business model. A Nashville judge temporarily blocked Oates' proposed sale of his share in November 2023, ruling that the proposed deal could not go through until an arbitrator could decide whether to impose a restraining order. In the 2023 filings, Hall accused Oates of blindsiding and betraying him. Oates replied in his own filings that he was deeply hurt Hall was making inflammatory, outlandish, and inaccurate statements about him. Representatives for Hall and Oates did not immediately return Variety's request for comment. Oates told us the Associated Press in 2024 that he's had no communication with Hall and declined to discuss the legal proceedings. He also said that a reunion was not in my plans at all. You can ask Daryl Hall what he thinks, he said at the time, but for me personally, no. Well, it's kind of nice to see that they resolved it privately. But see, you know what my nose is, we don't want private resolutions, honey. We want to see y'all talk about the shit in public. But I'm just because you hate to see people like, especially people with long relationships like this, just kind of have money fuck up their relationship. Let's see, they realize their money is just going to their lawyers. Oh, yep, yep. Go ahead, favorite Taurus.
Not for nothing. The Hall and the Oates, they got fucking hits.
Hello.
We love Hall and Oates in this house. Hello.
Yes, we do. And I think you're right about that. That comment happened. Like they realized that all this shit was. I feel like this did not have to happen in the first place. Like, but hey, I don't know.
Well, to
Uh,
your point, Auntie, do we know like the origins as to why they started feuding to begin with? I think that would be helpful.
th- uh, I think maybe the recession, because from what I see, because it looks like maybe one part of the band wanted to make more money and sell their catalog off so it could be marketed heavily with this organization, Primary Wave, so they can and we can get more money. We can reach new fans. I that's the mindset I'm thinking of. I could be wrong, but
Mhm.
that's my only. I feel like maybe one person was looking ahead and another person was like, well, maybe this is not a good idea. So that's what kind of start. I don't know. Maybe.
Well, that could very well be true.
Uh, well, did anybody want to add anything about this iconic group before we go to the next story? Now, I have a feeling that a lot of you may not know who this person is, but just out of curiosity, does anybody in the room other than me know who Rowdy Rebel is?
Huh?
I see. I knew I was right.
Who?
Well, yeah, Rowdy Rebel. He's a rapper and actually had a hit song. I want to say that came out when was it 2014, 2015? It was called Computers. And baby, that was a song for you. Like if you play that song in the clubs to this day, honey, the girls and gays might get hyped. All these social networks
Computers.
with these computers got these niggas walk around like they some shooters. Oh my god, that song was everything, honey.
Mm-mm.
And because of him, I actually just say this line, and bitch, I'm headed to your city. Because that's how anyway, his stupid ass. Let's talk about his stupid. So I have this all hip hop article. Brooklyn rapper Rowdy Rebel allegedly arrested in LA for gun violations.
That seems to be
Stupid.
going around.
Yes, and it's like him of all people. Y'all remember how I told y'all how strict they are about guns in Brooklyn, so he knows better. And then I hear that they're like is equally as strict about them in L.A. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is that true, or they have like strict gun, not as strict as New York City's gun laws, but they are pretty strict. Well, Rowdy Rebel and Los Angeles just can't seem to coexist without drama. Things have taken a serious turn. The Brooklyn rapper was reportedly arrested in LA after allegedly being caught with a firearm. The full details are still developing, but sources claim pictures show police removing his chains and bagging his property. I saw some of these images and Rowdy looked worn out and then some. This wasn't just a random stop in sunny California. Rowdy's time in LA is layered with some serious history and a backstory full of tension. Last time he left the city, he had some choice words for the Hoover saying SMD and F them uh, on his way out. Remember that, right? And for those who don't know, SMD means suck my. Anyway, if you know street politics, you know that type of talk it has a way of echoing loudly. It's no secret the Hoover's name has been linked to the tragic loss of Pop Smoke, and that brother was a close friend of Rowdy's. Some reports say he's on parole, but others suggest his parole ended in December of 2024. That detail matters big time. If he's still on parole, this could mean an automatic hold and possibly no bail. If he's not, he might have a shot at bonding out. Either way, as a felon, allegedly caught with a gun is not a great look. Rowdy never hung up his flag like Bobby Schmurder. He's still considered active from what I've heard. This means LA County Jail won't a vacation. People tell me it is the land of the Crips, and if the alleged comments toward the Hoover still linger, pray. Rowdy's got a rep for holding his own, but this is one of the worst case scenarios. Maybe he can earn him some alliances inside of there. We are asking what the hell brought him back to LA in the first place? Business, family, music? Some say new ops were actively looking for him. Whatever the reason, moving around that city with beef and a gun is not what's happening. And yet it was. He was gambling. There's still no official word on exactly how the arrest went down, but talk of a possible car stop is floating around. For now, Rowdy's locked up. The charges are confirmed, but you did not hear that from me. The notorious LA County system is beyond infamous. Good luck. Child. Mm, 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 mm. Stupid. Stupid. But if y'all, I would still go when y'all get a chance. Matter of fact, chill, put it on our workout playlist, girl, so we can hear some computers, honey, while we working out, honey. Matter of fact,
Ew.
don't do that because I probably won't want to
Ew.
work. I'll probably end up starting twerking and not working out. So yeah, don't do that. Well, does anybody want to add anything else before we go to our last story? All right. Well, our last story, honey. So remember we talked about Gervonta Davis not too long ago and how he was arrested for a domestic dispute and stuff. Well, child, turns out that case was dropped. And why it was dropped, I'm actually a little concerned. I ain't gonna tell y'all no lie. So well, first let me read the story, then I'll read the update. So the story says Gervonta Davis's domestic violence case has been dropped. TMZ Sports confirmed. A Miami-Dade County court official told us the matter was dismissed on Tuesday, nearly 2 months after the star boxer was accused of roughing up the mother of his two children. It's unclear why officials made the decision. We've reached out to prosecutors as well as Davis's attorney for comment, but so far we've yet to hear back. Davis was jailed on July 11th after the alleged victim in the case told Doral police the what is this word? I never saw it. Is that pugilist? I never used that word before. But anyway, the whatever hit her during a dispute in June on Father's Day. She claimed Davis was picking up his kids, and after a verbal argument, he got physical with her. She told police he struck her in the back of the head when she tried to retrieve her daughter from the back seat and then slapped her on the right side of her face. She allegedly sustained a minor laceration on the inner area of her lip during the altercation. Davis has not yet made any public comments on the incident since his arrest. So now here's where things get a little, really? Okay, so the update says the Miami-Dade State Attorney's Office tells TMZ this case was dropped as the victim is declining to prosecute per her victim attorney, Lindsay Chase Esquire, and her sentiments were directly confirmed by the assistant state attorney handling the prosecution. The witness to the incident, who is the victim's mother, also failed to cooperate and failed after being subpoenaed for a pre-file conference on Thursday, August 7th. Followed up attempts to contact the witness, the mother, via the phone were unsuccessful. It continued, the incident itself was not observed by the police officer who had been called to the scene, eliminating him as a possible witness to what had transpired. So now it looks like it was dropped because the victims don't want to press charges. Her and the mom, they can't reach the mama. I'm like, I don't like how this look, honey. But that's that on that. It could be nothing. I could, like Chill likes to say, I could be making a cake out of cupcakes, but I don't know. This don't look right.
Well, Auntie, I looked that song up and listened to it, and you don't ever have to worry about that being on any playlist of mine. Okay, that's on you.
Oh.
You put that on your playlist, not me.
Oh, it was Honey Baby. That's all I played that song at. Do you hear me? And bitch, I'm headed to your city. But yeah, honey. So I mean, I really hope nothing nefarious is going on between Javante Davis's child's mother and her mother. Because like it's one thing to not want to go to court because maybe she don't like courts, but the fact that they keep trying to reach her by phone and she's not answering, and I don't know, this don't look right. Well,
Yeah, nasty work.
and keep your fucking hands to yourself, and only fight people when you getting paid to do it. You a boxer, honey. You know better than that bullshit. And aren't your hands considered lethal weapons? Like, or is that a myth?
No, I
Like
think they
professional
are.
fighters?
If you have,
Mm.
martial arts or a boxer, yeah, your hands are considered weapons. But I guess he's gonna have to do something else before she decides to go ahead with a case against him. Hopefully, she's okay.
Hopefully, and the mama too. Go ahead, favorite Taurus.
Surprisingly, their hands are not considered lethal weapons.
They're not.
Mm-mm.
Really?
Mm-mm. Nope. Which is odd. From what I'm reading, it's a common myth, but it's not true.
Oh, oh wow, huh?
Look, very common indeed, honey, because look, both me and Chill thought it was
I
true.
thought it was. Yeah.
Well, there you go. Well, y'all, that was all the tea that I had for us today. So before we head out and before I go do what? Watch my stories. Did any of you have any tea that you want to share? Any tea I might have missed? Go ahead, favorite Taurus.
I had one. It's a story I've been following for quite a long time, and I sorry this is from a rabid fan account, which I do not like at all, but context is important. So, for those who are familiar, there was a big kerfuffle about a controversial ad by American Apparel starring Sydney Sweeney. That type of thing was a big deal. And then Beyonce, as we know, she's been in collaboration with Levi's, and so there was this whole big talk about Beyonce's presence not doing anything, and just the typical anti-Beyonce. But it's been proven that uh, everything she touches, the sales go up most of the time. Most of the time, the sales go up, which is. And I'm also surprised, like her fan base is not talking more about the significance behind the collaboration as well. Because for those who aren't familiar, Levi's or jean material in general was considered to be a lowbrow, low tiered fabric used by Black Americans during the, I believe it was during the Reconstruction. I might have my time
Hmm.
frame mixed up, but it was considered very much less than, and Levi's in general has considered to be, well, has a history of being very racist. They found like a pair of jeans in a coal mine that were like 100 plus years old, and it had a very anti-black slogan on them. So the fact that she, a black woman, has come in and proven her star power, but also began to kind of regain and reimagine what jeans and Levi's are, not only to black people but for the GP. It's something that should be celebrated more, in my opinion, more than the music. But I'm just surprised that her fans aren't talking about that at all. But yeah, that's the only story I have today.
They probably don't. They probably because I know this is I didn't only heard like whispers of I've like heard the story briefly, but it was like one of those things that I had to look up. Like I didn't, so they honestly probably don't know. That's probably why they ain't, and just like you said, Beyonce, anything that she mostly touches turns into gold. She has like that Midas touch. So they kinda and then I know me personally, I definitely wasn't getting to Sydney Sweeney's and her damn MAGA ass and her MAGA family. I wasn't giving her ass no life, honey, and that good jean shit. I wasn't even gonna touch that. Fuck her and that bullshit. And again, I don't shop at American Eagle no way. So that's why I didn't even so I feel like maybe the fans and I share the same sentiment. We don't give a fuck about that bitch, and we already know Beyonce is, but we definitely didn't I know I personally didn't know, like, the Levi story of that, so that mm, who knows? But thank you for that, favorite Taurus.
Of
Go ahead.
course.
Go ahead, Chilly.
Just as a side note to what Will was saying, that their hands of martial arts and boxers are not considered weapons, they are held to a higher standard in a court if they use those skills to injure someone, if they're in a fight
Ah,
or
okay.
whatever. So they are held to a higher standard. Um, yeah, it could still work against them.
Yeah. So Javante Davis, keep your fucking hands to yourself, ass clown. And any other professional fighters or martial artists, keep y'all hands to yourselves unless you're in that ring. Well, did anybody want to add any other tea or had any other tea that I might have missed? And fuck Sydney Sweeney and fuck American Eagle. And don't shit, and quiet as it's kept, don't nobody shop there but a whole bunch of either white gays or very, very masculine studs. Don't
And
nobody
also
like that.
sizes, like stopped at like size 8 or something. They don't have plus sizes or anything like that. You have to be small to wear their clothes
Mm,
or something like.
well, I don't know, honey, cause them stud girls, honey, they be studs be hippie. No
Oh,
shade, I love y'all, but y'all them girls be hippie.
oh, okay, so they do have bigger sizes.
But let me Google before I misspeak. Does
Or they could be wearing jeans that are marketed towards like men.
Men, yeah.
Mhm.
oh yep, definitely. Yep. Yeah, it says extended sizes on clothing for women. But let me see. Maybe you have to get it online. Yep, you have to get their extended sizes online. So they got them, but they're just not in the stores. And yep, and that is very important to note. They are the studs are buying the men's jeans. They're not wearing the women's sizes. So thank you for that. Any other tea before we head out? Well, y'all, it is always a pleasure. Thank you for taking time out of your busy day to come and sip tea with me. We will be back tomorrow at 12:30 Eastern Standard Time if you can make the live show. Until then, I hope you all have a fabulous rest of your day.
Bye, everybody.